when we were playing, nobody was really like in the bar at the time. They were all out on the porch smoking, as people do.
Yeah.
Well, I have a wireless unit, so I just ran out onto the porch and I was like stumbling out, screaming the lyrics at everybody while the band's still inside the bar going. Everyone was like, what the fuck's going on? Then everybody was paying attention. And when we were done, like 3 or 5 of the rappers came up to us and they were like, yo, that was tight as fuck, dude.
That's awesome, man. Welcome to the 45th episode of the Cassidins Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the Mathcore adjacent community. If you beautiful people in chat have any questions, feel free to drop them in. I'll try to read them aloud. If you would like to subscribe, $5, you get access to some exclusive emotes as well as early access to all the interviews before they hit YouTube and the streaming services. You also can get a free monthly sub by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. And it's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. If you're watching this on YouTube, listening to this in your car, and have no idea what I'm talking about, the show is first shown live on Twitch. Join us every Sunday and Wednesday for the live cast. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest tonight, who dropped a new EP last Friday. Welcome in, Humid. How's it going, guys?
Hey, really good. Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming in. Tell us who you are, what you do in the band.
You want to go first?
I'm Jared. I play bass in band.
I am Nathan. I do vocals and play guitar.
Who does the drums?
I also program the drums.
Ah, okay, we got program drums. Alrighty.
There's a bit of a story to that, actually.
Go for it.
Because I program the drums, but I actually sit down at a drum kit and write everything out and then program that. I have only been playing drums for about a year, so I'm not quite as accurate as I need to be, but I do write everything so that it can be played.
Oh, sick. Okay. You're doing a little bit better than I am. I just programmed that shit. Alrighty. So did you choose the name Humid because you're dropping some red hot tracks, or why'd you name it Humid?
Ooh, that's a me question, because all right, realistically, it's just because like I like hot. I like the heat, and and at the time when we all first like formed the band, we were all dudes that just like loved summer, especially like the hot, sticky Midwest heat. And we were like, Humid. That sounds like a good name, but
you like the humid?
Yeah, I like humidity. I mean, I during the summer I bike about between 40 to 60 miles every day.
Jesus
after work.
Christ.
Yeah, I'm kind of insane.
Oh my god.
No, I just got really into it, and I just really stuck. I was just like, yeah, this makes me feel powerful. I listen to just like that's how, and honestly, it's a way of me getting into like all of my like music fits and like getting into new artists, because it's like, okay, this is gonna take me in 3-4 hours of my day. What albums do I want to listen to in full that day?
Alrighty.
And yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I got into it. And honestly, biking exercise is just really just therapeutic in the
It
end.
is, man. That runner's high. That's the shit right there, man.
Oh, it's real. It's real. But yeah, the name just stems from our love of just like the summer. That's just like when we feel like we can do the most, because once it hits just like the fall, winter, we kind of shut down, and we're just like, we don't lose that energy. We just really feel with heat in the warmth.
Okay. I do have to say, when I was Googling you guys, like I came up with things that were like about the weather and such. Is that ever like a concern with y'all with your band name?
Not really. Because to be honest, we haven't thought much about it. It was more so, we started the band in 2018. At the time, it was just a project on my laptop where I had a couple of songs. And Jared was the first guy to be like, yo, you should flesh this out into a band. And I was like, I don't really have a name or anything for it. And then when Jared had said Humid, I was like, all right. And then we've had some variations. At one point, we had a period. When we went mathcore, we added the hyphen. So
to mention, we weren't originally a mathcore band. we started out, we figured it out just a couple weeks ago. We have an entire set list of songs not recorded before everything else that we have on Spotify, our mathcore phase of it. But when Humid first started, we were honestly more of like a kind of like psychedelic garage rock sound, and just kind of it really took a 180 and we switched to this.
Okay, I didn't listen to like your first song or whatever. Is that like when did y'all have like the garage sound up there or no?
So
Okay.
basically, in 2018, from about 2018 to 2019, we wrote probably 20 songs that aren't recorded, aren't captured live, because all we've really gotten good at is writing songs. When it comes to like marketing or playing a bunch of shows, we've played in our local area, but we've really just stuck with writing songs. When we finally got to Firestarter is when I bought an interface which had 4 inputs, and I was like, I could finally record the drums. And so that's when we started recording stuff.
Okay.
Which captured our mathcore transition onwards, I would say.
So did the first couple of tracks have actual drums on there then, or are those still programmed?
Yes, actually only This Is an Exercise, Revelation, and Birth have programmed drums. Everything else is done with an actual drummer.
Okay. So y'all just put in the hyphen then just because you're mathcore and you wanted to change it up a bit, or?
I wanted, with the name Humid, I felt it was pretty not generic, but it's not really, it doesn't give you a distinct image. So I wanted a way to stand out potentially on a flyer. And I thought adding this little hyphen makes it bold. When I eventually made the bracket logo, the hue, I thought of like, what if we made the hyphen like the division sign?
Okay.
Try to make it a little more mathy. Add the brackets just to seem that way.
No, it looks good. It looks really solid. I actually really like the logo. It's dope.
No, after we made that one, we were just like, oh, wow.
That's the one.
We could put that on a lot of things and it'll look cool.
So you made the Facebook page in 2017, but like y'all were saying, you didn't put anything up until 2019. Why did it take so long to put something up? We had recorded one song. Well, I record myself and I wanted to record the band. I'm pretty picky about the sounds on everything. And also, we were younger at the time and we did not have the money to flesh out for the recording studios in our area. So we were kind of waiting until I had the gear to do it. We ended up recording one song. The issue was our drummer couldn't play to a click. So I would have to, and I didn't have enough inputs to record everybody at once. So I would have to demo a guitar to a click track to have drums recorded over that to re-record all the guitars. It became just a very complicated process that made it very challenging for everybody involved. When we finally got to Firestarter, I had a better drum setup and we finally duked it out. Okay. So yeah, according to the Bandcamp page for Revelation, your last EP, it says that Nathan does everything and Jared just does bass. So is that really the division of work here? Like, Jared, you just play bass, that's it? You don't have like any other input on it?
Okay. This is actually we've talked about this a lot before, and really, all right. This dude, he's a perfectionist. Overthinks almost everything he comes up with. Honestly, if it wasn't for me saying, "Hey, that sounds good," or "Hey, that's a badass lyric," he wouldn't feel comfortable enough with finishing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the hype man, basically.
I give him a lot of encouragement.
And one thing that we can't really do it right now because of COVID, but when we were playing shows, we have very much the Dillinger Escape Plan live performance approach, where we got to be going off the rails. It's more important to go batshit than it is to play your part right.
Okay.
And Jared is also a really good performer. So as much as I have the technical know-how, if I'm ever in a position where I'm like, I need to fuck with an amp on stage, Jared can come up with that. Also, when it comes to the social media, Jared helps me maintain all of that. So a lot of our businessy stuff, me and him meet up probably once a week just to talk strategy And that's only been over quarantine because we had to really rethink how a band is going to function during the pandemic. So it's kind of evolved. I'm definitely the more musical side, but Jared brings a lot in terms of creative approach. And he's been he edited the Revelation cover. He did the Birth cover. Yeah. So we even things out pretty well.
Okay, I gotcha. So you're you mainly write the songs, and Jared like that fills in all the extra cracks and stuff like that, making the art and things like that.
Gives us the visuals and everything. Yeah.
I'm usually the one that's like, hey, I have this really cool idea that I thought about at work, or honestly, biking, where I get a lot of my best ideas. That's hands down where I get the best ideas. That's why I say the summer, springtime, that's when I really feel like I can really put out my most, just because I'm like, I just thrive. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Make us look good.
Okay.
I know a tad bit conceited, maybe.
Big Dingus 666 says that you're the hype beast assist.
Oh my god!
I'm not really sure what that means.
That
but
was
all
the
right.
dude we were telling you about, Mikey.
Okay.
Hi, Mikey.
Hello.
Your Bandcamp said that you're going to release more material than any other mathcore band in the game, but you've only released 15 tracks since 2019. Seems like you have a bit of ground to make up.
Well, my goal is to release music more consistently. Like our goal is to be dropping something every 3 months, because the philosophy behind that is during the pandemic and when COVID hit, we're like, man, bands can't really tour. We can't do a lot of things. And for us, we write music so quickly. We've been doing it for so long that we like to release stuff, move on. And the idea is to give fans more over time. So rather than just an album every 2 years, we're like, hey, let's give you a bunch of EPs or these short little things so you can hear us more consistently as we grow. It is then our plan to, after this year, take some time off and come back with a concept album.
Okay, I was going to say, y'all should definitely have a full length at some point. It sounds like you guys are trying to do that.
Yeah, this is basically the last year to grind out some more releases while we're trying to figure out how we want to tackle our marketing as well, so that when we eventually do a full length, hopefully there's some hype around it.
Okay, I can dig that. So I definitely see the similarities between you guys and Dillinger. You're mentioning Calculating Infinity, stuff like that. Or maybe that was when we were talking before you mentioned it. But I definitely see the connection between you guys and Dillinger. What are some of your other influences?
I also I'm a big fan of The Chariot because I like Josh Scogan's vocal performance with that band.
He is sick, yeah.
For real, that and their live performance goes off. Every Time I Die is probably not a strong influence, but those dudes also have some riffs and be going off. They've just been putting in the work consistently over years. It's impressive. And it's inspiring in that regard. I also really like Botch, that first album, and then Converge is probably an influence. Other than that, I listen to a lot of soft music, to be honest, like the Beach Boys and doo-wop.
Dude, fucking love that shit too, man. I grew up on that.
Dude, it's kind of my release from all the false grindcore, and mathcore that I like to consume and make most of the time.
Believe me, most of the time I realistically listen to a lot of like, all right, one of my favorite genres is funk. Like, I'm a big funk fan. Like, I love Parliament, Kool and the Gang. What is it? Graham Central Station, Larry Graham. I'm a bassist. Love that man to death. Yeah, so like, we love our softer music, and we just make very chaotic music.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of some other heavy stuff. I was thinking of just mathcore, but also I really like Meshuggah, Gojira, Pig Destroyer. Basically anything as long as it's really heavy and powerful. I take inspiration from that.
Okay, I gotcha. What's your write? Well, you already said what your writing process is. Basically, you're writing everything, and Jared helps you out with that. I really like the short songs. It helps me digest them easily. You guys before were writing like 2 to 3 minute long songs though, and now these are way shorter. You have 4 songs in like less than 4 minutes. So, like, why make them so short this time around?
This time I wanted to approach it with a recording process in mind. And I wanted to basically be able to level everything out in one audio session. And I had the idea of what if I had 4 songs which not necessarily segued into each other, but kind of flowed together. And then I thought, how could I portray that kind of with a sentence, which is where you kind of get the names of all the songs.
I was gonna mention
The first breath is a cry for help answered by the nature of the beast. To kind of tie that together and be like, hey, this is kind of one long thing. We joke that our songs are basically just riff salad. We don't like to repeat things that often. So putting it, as like you said, in the smaller chunks makes it a little easier to digest, which we have found has been a lot easier to write, record, and produce too.
And
so
also just like keeping up with right after releases and like weeks after, we like to like compare our like listens and whatnot on like different like streaming services, and we've noticed that if they're shorter, more people are going to play through the entire thing and listen to it, opposed to even like 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Where people digest things like so quickly now, like it needs like TikTok, it's like crack for the brain. You open it, 15 seconds, takes no effort, absolutely no effort to enjoy anything. And so that's what we're trying to do with the music.
So why not take like a few riffs, like what you use for like a short song, and just like repeat like some of those over and make the song a little bit longer?
We're experimenting with that with our next couple of things. We have a couple of riffs where like, damn, that part really fucks. Why
right?
Yeah, it's funny that because I literally just a couple days ago brought that up and was like, have you thought about making me like repeating a couple things, because they do go off, and it's like they're hard, and like
at first it kind of was me wanting the calculating infinity approach of bam, hit them with riffs that they can't understand all over the place. And basically the point was when we played live shows, I didn't want anyone in the crowd to be able to mosh, as ridiculous as that.
Okay.
I don't want them to just like feel it as a 4/4 normal push pit. Unless you're going batshit crazy, you don't need to be moving, because we'll be doing that. Like I've almost broken my guitar. I have a permanent cut on my eye from I got gashed myself open during a
like on your eye or on your eyelid?
On my eyebrow up here.
Okay.
I was playing actually at my old high school. The high school I graduated from is like a reunion show a couple years later. And we went back there into the second song. I cut open my eyebrow and I was like bleeding. I was like, is it raining? And I wiped and it was just blood.
Oh,
I was like, well, we got to finish the set.
How did you hit yourself? What did you hit yourself with?
I think I hit myself with like my guitar, because I like to flail around, do all this sorts of shit.
Okay. And you paid the price.
I did. And I thought honestly, it was a bigger boost of adrenaline. It made the night.
Adds to the show, adds to the performance.
So you said you record everything yourselves, but this time you had I guess in last time too, you had Robert Patton mastering the stuff. I'm not too familiar with his work. Has he worked with big bands before, or?
He's worked with a hardcore band, which I really like, called N Love from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
He's produced a couple of other bands. He's in a band called Zone Zero and another band that I can't remember the name, but which he's produced them before.
Okay.
I remember listening to N Love's EP and then actually being surprised that Rob had mixed it, because he actually reached out to us asking who did our work. And I think he reached out on the Daughters EP when we dropped that. He was like, hey, who mix and masters your stuff? And then I said it was myself. And he was like, if you're ever considering to outsource the work, let me know. And when it came time to do Revelation, I had been really stressed about having to just mix, master. I was trying to really rush it out by the end of the year.
Okay.
And so we ended up having him master it. And I was like, holy fuck, these songs sound huge. And so when we had that, I was like, let's see how it sounds when he mixes and masters it, and does the mixing as well. So he mixed that one session that I was talking about, which had all 4 songs. And then he sent us the master, and I was like, my God, this sounds massive.
I
It
will
made
say
me
they sound really good. They sound really good.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
I don't know why I looked up like he's dead. He's not. He's very much alive.
Rest in peace, Rob. So, what do you use to program your drums?
I bought Get Good drums.
Okay, I haven't used those before, but I think I've heard people mention it. I think I've heard some good things.
It's by one of the dudes in Periphery. I think Nolly, the bassist who does all their technical gear. It's one of the things he does. Get Good drums. Some really good sounds on it. I find it's pretty intuitive. I'm enjoying it, and it was on sale at the time that I bought it, and it was a step up from what I had. So,
alrighty. So your lyrics for Revelation was on your Bandcamp page for Revelation, it says 2020 was a rough year for everyone. There was a since the world was ending, so we decided to write songs about the apocalypse. Meet the 4 horsemen. This is the beginning of the end. So that one's clearly about the end of the world. This one, yeah. Birth. It's a little hard for me to like kind of grasp everything that's going on. What are the lyrics about in Birth?
Birth was not as much a theme as it was kind of based around the idea of, I guess my thought, the opening line is, "Mother, why have you put me on this earth?" And the idea is this EP is going to hit you with a barrage of things that you're not ready for. I have this idea for a music video I want to work on, which is basically this feeling of somebody is getting knocked down, and as much as they try, they can't get back up.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So that's
I like
kind
that.
of the idea is birth is you're put into this world like, I'm sorry, my little darling. That's like here's this life and you're just dealt with it. You got to do with it what you will.
Okay, that sample makes so much more sense now. I was just like, let me cut you off for a second. Where did the sample come from?
Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby. I got
like 60s.
I gotta write that shit down. Hold on. I think I've seen it, but it's been a long time. I need to figure out where that thing came from. But anyway, I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, it's all good. Yeah, I actually found that sample and I was just like,
68.
It's like, I'm sorry, my little darling, forgive me. And I was like, that's so sad, but it would be so good to go into this. I had been really struggling with like depression during the winter, and I just had the line of, "Mother, why have you put me on this earth?" And I was like, just do that as the beginning over a big drum pattern. And so then it kind of elaborated from there. And the opening fill comes from the lyrics. I wrote the lyrics I almost always write the guitars first, but on the first breath, I wrote the lyrics before the guitars.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Most metal bands, I feel like, do riffs first and then lyrics at the end.
Yeah.
So why'd you decide to go that route?
Because I wanted it to test myself rhythmically. So it starts with a basic pattern where it's like da 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 da. That little gallop I was only able to do because I had the words spitting in the back of my mind. Okay. And it was that weird little rhythm that I was like, what if I do that as like a low note chug and just fill that in on the toms? And then that's my fill, which breaks up the pattern, making it more technical.
Okay. Alrighty. So you generally go guitar, then drums, then lyrics, or how do you normally do it? Okay.
Normally I like to finish the song in its entirety with guitars, bass, and drums. And then I like to set up a microphone, put the headphones on, and just kind of shriek over it for a take or two.
Okay.
And then I kind of see, do any of these vocal rhythms sound cool? Because I don't want it to necessarily feel comfortable. I want it to feel cool. I don't want it to be easy to play while I do the vocals. It just has to be right.
Okay. Is there ever a concern for playing something live?
No. I figure I'll deal with it.
like we said earlier with performing, we give them a good show. We've been told it's like, if you mess up a part, fuck something up, make sure you're doing something cool. Just make sure you're
Okay.
like flailing on the ground. You're doing something that's just like off kilter. Like the last show we actually played was the weekend of March 13th, 14th, right when like shutdown started.
We
Like,
played the day before the shutdown. That was
Yeah.
our last show.
yeah, we played.
We got lucky.
And during that performance, we played with all like the hardcore bands in our area, like very like the beat downy bands, and we were kind of like the standout band, being like we're this like crazy mathcore technical group. Also, the only reason we got on the show was because a bunch of them, they all have these like ridiculous egos that were like, I don't want to play first. I don't want to play first. And we were like, yo, let us play
Let us
first. Because we also have a mentality of we're about to outperform everyone. So yeah, put us on first. Like
Everyone assumes the first band's going to be kind of crappy. So we're like, let's just go out there and just be a band they can't ignore.
Yeah,
Like, with
yeah.
such a big presence that it just takes them over. Half the time I'm not doing the lyrics into the microphone. I'm in the crowd screaming at the audience directly because I have a wireless setup so I can actually go all batshit.
Dude,
Big Dingus in the chat says that y'all are being modest. Y'all are pros live.
No, you are too kind.
How did that show go though? What are people's responses? Like the crowd of like the beatdown and stuff. What's their response to your music?
So a lot of them didn't know how to mosh because, again, our rhythms are kind of weird and all over the place, and that's the point.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I was in a bar, and like I looked around, and actually everyone was just watching us. Which most of the time when you're the opening band, everyone's doing their own thing, but everyone was actually really engaged, which blew my mind. We got some big comments from all the hardcore bands like, yo, that shit was heavy as fuck, which makes me feel good, boosts the ego a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. The best one of it all. The bar that we were playing at, the venue, the owner is a friend of ours, and his friend, who's like a big like musical classically trained musician from like Chicago, not into that stuff whatsoever. Like he was actually planning to leave right when the band started because it was the opening weekend for this bar. It was under new ownership. Our buddies purchased it, and so they had their friends out from like all around the area, and he ended up staying because we started playing, and he was like, whoa, I'm counting with one foot and then counting with the other. Like he was like blown away because he's like, wow, like I'm really thinking about this right now. And like this dude's like imagine anyone that's really into musical theater, any typical theater person, that's who this man was. And it was
very high praise.
Yeah, and that was really cool. That was probably one of the coolest compliments that we've ever gotten.
That's
and
awesome.
We still talk about it to this day.
See, my opinion is that if people would just like listen to mathcore, they would fucking dig it. It's just a lot of people don't know it exists. I feel like once the word gets out, like this genre will start blowing up, and things like that are like evidence I point to, you know, saying that this will be a thing.
100%. One thing I have found is that in mathcore and in metalcore, which I hate to, some people, there's a stigma around metalcore now, but it's very creative rhythmically, and I think that's what people fuck with. Is, you know, when people are out dancing, they want to move. If you give them a cool rhythm, people enjoy that. And when like we got that one compliment, it showed me that people are ready to engage with more challenging pieces of music, and they are ready to appreciate that, which I think is kind of a new thing coming out nowadays. But it's really nice to see all these platforms for mathcore to kind of get a voice and be out in the public eye.
Right. Echo Beauty Terror in chat says that the crowd shat themselves at that show.
Literally, because there's most of the time our music's so like just insane that like most of the time we don't notice the crowd. We're really in our own world. Like we kind of close everyone else off because we're just like, because most of the time it's like, all right, we all have to count at the exact same time. We all have to stay together right now because a lot of it is also just counting it out. And there's a couple parts in certain songs. There's actually one in our song Round 2. That was when I think that's when you noticed it too when everyone was like really watching. Like there's one part where we kind of get a little break, and that's when I was able to kind of like take my glance, and I'm like, wow, everyone's really watching us right now. I was like, whoa, like.
So y'all play with a drum machine and stuff live, I assume?
No, we actually have
No.
we had other members before. It was actually we started actually that like we split off from those members in about like halfway through the year.
There was
Oh,
a falling
okay.
out for quarantine. The distance put a lot of strain on
Gotcha.
everybody.
Okay. I saw some photos where it was just you two guys on stage, so I was thinking that maybe y'all played some shows, just y'all. But I guess that hasn't happened yet.
No,
Okay.
it was a whole unit, and we actually have been jamming with a new guitarist and a new drummer.
Ooh.
So we are hoping to be doing some more live videos, potentially some live recordings here within the year.
Oh,
So,
sick. Okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
So your artwork is pretty interesting. I got the album cover art up on the stream now. So Jared did the art, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I realistically, the art for the album was we were just coming up with like little concept ideas because that's really where like I have like a strong sense for. Like I like suggested for Revelations, I was just like, hey, the end of the world, the book of Revelation, and in the Bible, that shit's crazy. It's insane. Like we can easily write something with that and do something with that. And then with Birth, I was like, we came up with that whole like idea of like with like life. It's like what you get. Like this is it. And so for Birth, I was just like, I just asked him. I was like, ask your mom. She has an ultrasound photo of when
So it is one of y'all. Okay, that was gonna be one of my
it's him.
questions.
It's him.
it's
That's
me.
his. That's his mom's ultrasound photo from '97. Like, yeah.
Okay,
Rock.
okay.
Shout out my mom.
Yeah.
She got us the cover. The
So,
cover image. Pulled up into deep diving in the archive.
yeah, it was literally just like, Erica, can you please look for a photo of your son before he was born? And that's really where. And then I was like, and then we just put literally the real little part of editing was just putting a red X like where like one of the eyes.
I was gonna mention that. Why the X?
Just
We
for a
thought it
touch.
looked cool.
Just for a touch. Add color, add a little bit of color.
Switch it up just a bit.
Yeah, add very subtle color.
I guess
noticing-
you could say that like we're all dying at the same time we're living, so
Yeah.
put the X
Yeah.
over there. Yeah, give it a little bit more meaning, give it a little backstory.
Indeed.
We're doing it right now. We're giving it meaning right now.
There you go. There you go. Revelation. What is this? Like a bunch of roots or something together?
Oh, okay. That one is actually of I really like I messed with a lot of the saturation, but it's a photo of a volcanic formation in one of the Hawaii islands. Can't
Really?
remember which one.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just a photo of just like a lava formation, and it kind of looked like just a pit of fire, and then all of like the rock, like the magma and the hardened like lava just looked like souls being sucked into hell. And I was
Okay,
like,
I see that.
that
I
looks
see that.
insane. And then I was like, if we've messed with the saturation, this will look even crazier. And I did it. I was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
It looks like a doorway to hell or something. I really dig it.
Yep, that was the goal.
So we already talked a little bit about shows, but what was your best show that you played?
I would say that's probably the one right before the lockdown happened. That was a really good show. But we've had a lot of really good shows because with the performance that we give, usually by the time we leave, even if it's only 3 or 5 people that were there, they were like, holy cow, you guys sure put on a fuck ton of energy for that being there so little people. You have something to say?
Actually, one of my favorite ones was summer of 2019, I believe it was. Yeah, it was summer of 2019. One of our friends, we did a house show at her place in the old west end of Toledo. And the old west end of Toledo is the largest old Victorian / like Gothic neighborhood in, I believe, the United States. I believe it's the most like largest, well preserved, like old like neighborhood. Like every house is huge and just had like just that beautiful like Gothic Victorian architecture.
Like every house looks like it's haunted or something.
Literally every house looks haunted. The foundation, like you go down in the basement, all of like it's not concrete flooring, it's brick flooring. Like these are old ass houses. And we did a house show at our friends, and it was called the Pink House. It was this big like soft pink, like just like Gothic looking house, and that was a really fun performance like show, because it was we're really big on a lot of the mixed genre shows that we do, because there's not a lot that fit us, so we like to just play with any of our friends and their other like weird bands. So we played with a lot of like soft indie groups.
We got put on a rap show at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
We got a bunch of compliments from that show, actually, because when we were playing, nobody was really like in the bar at the time. They were all out on the porch smoking, as people do.
Yeah.
Well, I have a wireless unit, so I just ran out onto the porch, and I was like stumbling out, screaming the lyrics at everybody while the band's still inside the bar going. Everyone was like, what the fuck's going on? Then everybody was paying attention. And when we were done, like 3 or 5 of the rappers came up to us and they were like, yo, that was tight as fuck, dude.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, I'm still good friends with a couple of them today. I'm pretty sure Jesse was there. Food Stamp. Love that man.
There's a guy named Food Stamp?
Yeah, one of he's in a group called was it Black Market RX, kind of like pharmaceutical like RX type thing. I think that's what it is. I'm not good with the medical industry or anything like that.
Okay, I gotcha.
That's his stage name, Food Stamp. Just a cool.
Okay.
Honestly love seeing any of those guys. They're always just good time.
What was the reaction from the rest of the crowd at that show? The rap show. You had to have had some haters.
Some of them weren't happy that I ran out onto the porch because, not gonna lie, I did stumble. And so I kind of like fell over, and I think I knocked a cigarette out of a dude's hand. And so he definitely wasn't happy. And there have been times we've had people be like, yo, you really should tone it down. And
yeah,
I'm like,
we've had some people really come be like, that have been like, that was a little too much. Yeah. We've been told that a lot before.
Well, my thing is, the moment that the music starts, I kind of just tap out and I just lose all sense of self. And it's just, this is the moment. This world is mine. I have all the power.
Right. It's a really, it's a good thing to have for shows. So you can just like kind of block everything out and just focus on playing the guitar and stuff.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be worried about people's opinions of our music.
Well, what has people's opinions been of your new EP?
We've received a lot of really good feedback on this EP, which I wonder, because I did try to incorporate a couple more breakdowns on it. I wonder if that happened to make it a hair more accessible rather than some of the riff salad things I've done before. But I think the shorter songs also made, like you said earlier, made it more accessible for people to like break down. Okay, these 3 ideas I can comprehend, and I can go back and repeat it.
I was gonna say that with this release, it's already shot up as being one of our like most like listened to releases yet through Bandcamp. Just because I think it is just the whole 4 songs in less than 4 minutes. It just made it very much that you'll complete it instead of like, oh, I'm gonna skip this, or the song's too long, or I don't get this.
Okay. Are y'all gonna be adding in more breakdowns and stuff?
For me, each release is an experiment, and it depends where I'm at the time. Like, some of our early stuff was really influenced by some bands I was listening to and their guitar voicings. As things went on, I got more of a grind influence, which I wanted to incorporate. I like adding the breakdowns because I like to add a sense of pocket where people can feel what's going on, and they're like, okay, this really grooves. But I like to add enough variation to the point where you almost feel like a hiccup in the beat or the record skip. Where
Yeah.
you're like, whoa, what was that?
You want people to be out spazzing on the floor, not necessarily moshing.
Yeah.
snap their neck if they try to headbang to it.
Dude, a lot of the times when we're actually getting into the writing like process and writing mode, he'll usually bring up and ask, he's like, all right, so what bands do you want to like take influence from? what are some cool bands we should like listen to and like really think about? And that like for this one we even said like Ceremony. It wasn't like that. Like,
No, we wanted to do that for the next release.
for the next one.
I never
This
heard of
one has-
Ceremony before.
They're like, well, they're not a hardcore punk band anymore, but they used to be a hardcore punk band.
Okay.
And they would have like a 30-second song where maybe 15 seconds of it is a slow bass buildup and the other 15 seconds is a blast beat.
Okay.
It's like really short and sweet, but it was just short to the point, hit them hard with a riff once, go home.
Okay. So y'all are trying to be more grind with your math. So math grind band now.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I'm trying
idea
to
is
get
to
to.
leave them wanting more and give them a lot in the little time we have them.
Okay, I got you. You ever heard of Great Redneck Hope?
I fuck with them so hard.
Okay, I was gonna say
I love that band.
that kind of seems like the direction y'all are heading towards is that kind of sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I can dig that. That's the kind of stuff I'm really into, actually.
Hell yeah.
So, what was your worst show?
Okay, it took me a second to remember, but we played a Halloween show, and it was for just a handful of our friends in this barn we had done. It was this barn show at our drummer's house at the time, and we played, and there was only a handful of people there. I think they had a good time, but we really played like shit to the point where I was like, where is the beat? Are we a unit? And I think I made that night probably that worst show is because I was just like, when we were done playing, I just stormed off, went upstairs, and went to bed.
Oh yeah, no,
I was like, I'm done.
Now I remember. Yeah, you. Oh yeah, I remember that. I literally right after you went to bed and disappeared, I just ended up leaving. I was just done. That was a really bad night.
There was only one, and that was just because we just played so horribly. I think it was because it was like a party. Everybody just
You were a little drunk, yeah.
too out of it. And
I think everybody has that kind of show once in a while, you know?
Yeah, for real. Luckily, it wasn't like a big opportunity or anything. I think we ended up just taking it too seriously, but that's definitely the one where we performed the worst.
You ever have a show where the crowd's just not into it at all?
Every show.
Well, you seem to like win them over in a lot of these circumstances.
Good.
Well, there's sometimes we get people that come up to us afterwards, and sometimes we get people that will actually just pay attention. And usually that's all I'm looking for is I'm looking to be a band that can't be ignored because I either want people to love us or hate us. That middle opinion don't really matter.
Okay.
Is to have such a polarizing presence that it forces a reaction out of people. Because whether the person's saying to the person they're there with, oh man, this band's so fucking horrible, or damn, this band goes off. We want it to be one of the two, so they're talking about us.
Okay. Hopefully more of the band goes off and not as horrible.
Yeah, for real. Well, a lot of people really dig the energy to the shows, and I think that's one thing that wins them over is if they can't comprehend the music, they see the energy to it, and they're like, damn, this really must be a party. I'm just not into it yet. But I think they see that there's something on the other side of it where it's like, I could be a part of that.
Okay. We got a question that we ask everybody here. How do you dress your hot dogs?
Dress our hot dogs. Lately, I've been doing coney sauce and my sharp cheddar cheese on top of
What's
it.
coney sauce?
Oh my God, that throws me off
Okay,
because I assumed everyone knew.
Okay.
Just this combination of random things together and you just put it on?
Coney sauce is like
It's got the consistency of like a chili.
yeah, it's like all right, do you
Okay.
know like chili but like minced chili kind of like
So like a gravy, I guess? Like a chunky
It
gravy?
amazing.
A meaty, chunky gravy. Kind
Yeah.
of.
This sounds terrible.
Yeah.
It looks really gross.
Yeah,
in
it
the
does
can.
look disgusting, but they're good.
And here's the thing: like, you heat it up in the microwave, it doesn't even smell good. I can't tell you why I like keep putting it on, but for some reason it switches
You
it up.
just hate yourself, man, and you just gotta put that sauce on there. Like, I deserve this.
See, all right. Growing up, I hated hot dogs. Absolutely hated them. I was the weirdest little kid. Hated my two least favorite foods growing up. The two most common little kid foods: hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. Could not eat
Really?
them. Still to this day, I don't like macaroni and cheese. I will not eat.
That's
macaroni
crazy,
and
dude.
cheese.
Well, what
Oh,
is
yeah,
it
no,
about the macaroni and cheese specifically? Like the texture or something? Or because everybody likes cheese and pasta, man. Like, I don't know where you're at.
No, I think it's just because it is just cheese and pasta. I can't get past that. Like I'm so like just a couple years ago, I had my first grilled cheese ever. The first time I ever
What?
had a grilled. Yeah, I was over the age of 18 when I had my first grilled cheese.
This is news to me.
Jesus
What the fuck?
Christ.
Yeah,
You've been living
I'm-
under a rock or something? Or
No, my mother always says you probably ate like a gross piece of cheese on the ground when you were a little kid because little kids, they take little food, they hide it, and I probably found it, ate it, and was just like, no. And to this day, like, all right, it's weird. Like, I can eat pizza. There's enough going on. I can eat tacos with like queso and cheese. There's enough going on, but like.
so just cheese is like you don't like cheese then?
Charcuterie boards, you pull out all that cheese, hell no, I will not eat it. Like cubed cheese, like my sister loves cheese. That's how she just eats like blocks of cheese, and I'm just like, absolutely disgusting, just disgusting.
That's crazy.
But the hot dog question, I actually like hot dogs now. I can eat hot dogs. I actually do enjoy them, especially like the grilled during the summer. But I like the classic, just like, well, ketchup, mustard, onions, relish, all that stuff. Like,
Okay. You like to
Or,
put everything on it.
yeah. Or I like a good chili dog, like a coney dog. Still, like, those are always good. I don't know if I don't know if you have them down in Texas, but there's a place called Nettie's. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. All right.
That's a small mom and pop shop, I think, up here.
Yeah, all right. I think it's more of a very localized business, but they have like this, just like their chili dogs are just like, they're perfect. They like that perfect consistency of like that minced chili, and just like they put the onions, mustard, and just like so good. So good. I've yet to have one this year yet.
Well, here's the real question though: do you put cheese on your hot dog?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Okay, like a
No,
cheeseburger or something. You're into that? Dude,
If
what?
I'm-
Really?
Okay. This is the thing. I will eat cheese on a burger. But if you ask and say, "Would you like cheese on that?" I'm gonna say no. I'll say it. I'll be the first one.
That's
Yeah, no. If
crazy,
you
man.
say, "Will you want cheese on that?" I'm gonna say no. But
I'll take
Like-
all your cheese then. You can just send it on to me.
Yeah.
it works out in every relationship. Once they find out, they're like, "You don't like macaroni, or you don't like cheese," they're like disgusted, and then I'm like, "Hey, babe, like, I don't eat cheese. You can eat it all. Like that's a you thing." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, it's true."
That's why people date you, because they hear that you give away cheese. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't eat their macaroni. I don't eat their Kraft, but it's kind of like the whole pickle thing. Like, you get with someone that doesn't like me. I love pickles. You get with someone that hates pickles. So like, it's an ongoing thing, you know.
they give you your pickles, you give them your cheese.
Exactly.
So you guys don't have much merch, but you got some merch. You want to show us what you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got.
So for Revelation, we did a handful of DIY CDs,
Nice.
which we have. And
Good
actually,
image, good image.
we ordered some posters with it, which come with them. This is a fancy little
That's
display
sick.
for it.
The frame is not included.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's sick. How do you ship the posters? That's something I always wondered because I would love to do some posters for my stuff, but yeah.
Okay, here's the trick. Okay. You're technically not supposed to do it, but I've never been one to really follow the law. So when you go and get stampage, you just tell them media stamp. And for media, it's around like $2-3. And I just give them the large envelope. They'll ask, like, and I just tell them a CD. And they've asked, like, why is the envelope so big? You don't have to give them all the information in the world. I just say we had a lot left over from other shipments, blah, 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 blah. No one wants to have that much small talk at the post office. So
But yeah, media mail means they deliver it by hand so that it gets there all in one chunk. So it doesn't have to go through any processing.
So like giant envelopes, and just tell them it's a CD, and you had you were just like, I had a bunch laying around. I thought might as well get use out of them, and they'll be like, okay.
So what I was mainly wondering though, how do you ship it without it getting folded? Your poster, or do you fold them?
We have a mailer which is big enough so that it doesn't have to get folded.
Okay.
When we send it via media mail, that means they have to deliver it by hand. I'm assuming they don't fold it. We haven't had any complaints yet. However, if we were to have anybody be like, yo, I got this messed up, we would figure out another way to ship it to them. Everything's DIY, so it's real easy to replace and return stuff.
Okay, so you're not using like those tubes or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So you're worried about like talking at the post office and stuff. Why not just use PayPal to print out your shipping labels and just throw it on there, then drop it off at the post office, not even have to talk to anybody?
Because we didn't know that.
A lot of this stuff is new to us. We folks spent all of our time making music and playing shows that the rest of like having merch and whatnot is kind of second nature to us.
That went over our head when like COVID hit. It was a very big like learning curve for us, because we were just like, oh, the things that we knew what to do, we just like, we can do one of those, but we can't do the other. And a lot of like our like big thing was getting out there in front of people, because everyone would remember after the performance we would give. So we didn't have to think so much about, okay, this merch. We actually started getting merch near the end, but then COVID happened, and then I just really fell through, and then like a lot of other stuff. And
yeah, our goal was to get out in front of more people during quarantine. We didn't expect that people would want merchandise from us. So when people were like, hey, do you have shirts? Because we were worried about monetizing too soon. We didn't want to be like, yo, we got shirts, come buy one. And it's like, we wanted to make sure we were giving them a lot of value before we asked for anything in return. And now people have asked us like, hey, do you have any shirts? And we're like, fuck, well, give us a month and we'll get some, you know?
I feel like you can never monetize too soon. Like, it doesn't hurt to have some shirts thrown up on the store. It looked like y'all had some. What happened to those? Like, I guess you sold through them all?
No, we had a handful of them, and then over quarantine, we had a falling out with an old bandmate.
Gotcha.
And
I
they
totally forgot you mentioned.
won't talk to us.
Gotcha. I totally forgot you mentioned that. I'm sorry about that. So, what was the last album you guys listened to?
The last album?
Okay, we've been
Old Dirty Bastards, Shimmy Shimmy Ya.
Okay.
Okay. We listened to that on the way back from Michigan.
Yeah.
We were playing Dungeons and Dragons on the drive back. We listened to that album.
Nice. What characters are y'all in Dungeons and Dragons? Like, what's your race and stuff? I don't know a lot about it, but I know a little bit.
So it's my kind of first time playing. So I went with a human barbarian, just a normal fighter, basically taking the role of the tank. I got a lot of hit points, not much magic.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Yeah, he takes all the damage for me, because I'm the mage. I play a gray elf mage, and my character is actually, because of my racial ability of a +1 in intelligence. The highest number in your attributes is an 18, because, for example, you would take 9 6-sided die, roll those, take the highest 3 numbers, do that a combination of 6 times, and then you distribute your attributes how you want it. I got an 18 because out of the 3 you can get 3 6s, so I got an 18, put it into my intelligence, giving me an unnatural 19. I'm smarter than some gods in the game.
Okay. All right.
Some gods are geniuses. My character is a super genius, and I just cast spells all day. I just throw lightning bolts left and right, and I just like magic. I'm a big RPG player, and every game I've ever played, magic is always my like leaning for any build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried Dungeons and Dragons a little bit, but I just couldn't get into like role playing and stuff, man. Like,
really?
I don't know.
Dude,
well, I think we play first edition with a friend of ours who has a bunch of miniatures and whatnot. For me, it helps to have like a visual aid of where we're actually at rather than because the 5th edition, it's more all on paper and kind of just verbalized. But having the actual miniature, I think, is kind of what's cool.
Like
about it.
we play with like the old school stuff, like the books from the 70s. Like even some of the figures that we use are like the old school like 80s and like figures that are still made of metal that break as soon as you drop them.
That's cool.
Yeah,
man.
but like our buddy, he's one of our closest friends is really into DMing, and he is also really into like handiwork. So he builds a lot of like just like landscape molds and buildings. Like he's built like entire keeps and shit like for their characters, and like he has like hundreds of monsters and little like village like characters to like really build up a world. And I think a lot of like to get into Dungeons and Dragons, you have to have a good DM. That's like a key is someone that can really bring the world to life. And our buddy, he is he does accents. He does a lot of voices and accents. He's really into it. So
that's cool, man. What was your album of the year, either for this year or last year?
Man,
I should have mentioned this before we started. I completely forgot.
Album? Okay, I actually got one.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you do that. I'm gonna hit my
Spotify. I have to look at the name right now because god damn it, I have a couple now.
Well, name some of them off.
Same so.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna start with a really goofy one, but I like it. Okay, one of my favorite genres is a genre called folk metal. I'm a huge fan of it. Like I'm even wearing one band right now.
Yeah, NC Firm. Yeah,
big fan. I've actually met a lot of these bands over the years, but one band that actually really like that made it an interesting album that I was like, okay, I really like this was Alestorm. Alestorm's Curse of the Crystal Coconut was honestly a really good album. I was like, I listened to it all the way through and I was like, huh, they did it again. Wow. I was like, I did not know a pirate gimmick can go on for 6 albums, but they did it.
That's true. That's one that you would think would just peter out after a little bit, but those guys are going strong, man.
Another one, another folk metal band from Finland. They're called Fintroll.
Fuck yeah, dude. Trollhammering.
I'm a huge Fintroll fan.
That was one of the albums I found when I was just getting into metal. Was the one with Trollhammer.
Oh, Not Food. Yeah, Not Food. Yeah, their album Vredzidbad. That was a really good one. I really enjoyed that, especially because their last album came out in 2013. I was waiting 7 years for this one. And
it lived up to the hype or no?
Oh, it definitely did. It did. I actually bought it on vinyl. Got this like really nice like orange crush like color vinyl for it. And
when are y'all gonna be incorporating folk metal into your sound?
Throwing some like
Jared, you got to learn like the violin or some of their.
You'd be accordion or some shit.
Yeah, for real.
I own an accordion. I actually do. I don't know how to play it. I just own it.
Well, you said album of the year. I went back, and it's a little out of genre, but The Strokes dropped an album last year.
Okay, I didn't listen to it.
they're much more on the pop side, and that kind of is my other influence. But it was actually really experimental, and they did a lot of things which I thought were pretty unique for a pop album. So I guess I'll give it to that because I don't know that many albums from 2020.
Okay, I got you.
But Strokes is probably one of my top 3 bands. It goes the Dillinger Escape Plan, the Beach Boys, and the Strokes. So
Yeah.
So Beach Boys is better than the Beatles, then, in your opinion?
yes, but only because of Pet Sounds, and I think that's a really impressive album based on the music theory. But I do think the Beatles wrote more hits, and I have more fun playing guitar and singing songs with the Beatles than I do the Beach Boys.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm more of a Beatles fan than.
Sounds are impressive.
I'm sorry, what?
I said the falsettos on Pet Sounds are very impressive.
Oh, it is. Yeah, dude. So, like, to me, the Beach Boys have, like, a couple of good hits, and then they have Pet Sounds, and that's about it. The Beatles,
You're right.
like, they've got, ever since from, what was the first one? Rubber Soul, I think, was when it started going. Yeah, ever since from Rubber Soul, they've been, like, you know, just hitting it every time, you know?
You're 100% agree. Big time.
A fucking sick band, dude. But that's about all I had to talk about. Y'all have something else you want to bring up?
I don't think so, but just thank you for having us on
Yeah.
the cast. Everything you're doing, bringing
Actually-
some attention to the mathcore community.
Actually, I have
it's
one.
pretty cool.
I have one question though.
What's up?
Okay, going back to the hot dog thing. I'm going back to the hot dog thing.
Alrighty.
So you don't know what like coney, like chili, like you don't know what like a chili dog is?
I mean, I
You
know what
guys
a
don't have-
chili dog is,
Okay,
but I never heard
Okay,
coney
I was
before.
just like stuck on that. I was
No.
like, what? Like you don't know what coney is? I'm like, huh?
No,
So it's
what?
just chili.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically what it is. Like a minced down chili.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate what you were saying, Nathan. Just trying to, you know, bring more attention to the scene and stuff, you know?
Yeah, dude, big time. I've been listening to a lot of your stuff. I've been enjoying it. So
I appreciate that. So if you're looking for something to fill that Dillinger-shaped hole in your heart, you should check out Human's new EP, Birth. You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp. You're not on Twitter, right?
no, we are not.
No,
Okay.
Twitter's hard to manage.
Twitter
I don't
sucks.
know.
Twitter kind of sucks. Yeah.
I don't know how to make it work.
Exactly,
Well,
dude. Me too. That's my problem. That I don't know how to connect to other people. So I just like
Yeah.
repost my Facebook posts to Twitter and just like it's out there. If people like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, for real.
But you're also on all the streaming platforms. Do you have any other social plugs? Anything I'm missing?
We're most active on our Instagram and Facebook, but we also have a YouTube at Humid the Band, and
That's
we plan
right.
on doing a lot more with all 3 of those things coming soon.
And all of them is Humid the Band, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as for me, drop my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube, as well as some exclusive emotes. If you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe for $5. Sorry. You can also attach your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account to get a free sub per month. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you like the video, drop a like, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, at thesoundthatenscreation.bandcamp.com. My next guest is Boston-based mathcore Purveyors Nursing, who just dropped their disgusting debut, Self-Care, last Friday through Dark Show Records. Join us this Wednesday, the 24th, at 7 p.m. Central, right here at twitch.tv/thecasthatenscreation for the live cast. Thanks for being here, guys. Hope you had some fun.
Oh, of
We had a
course. Thank you for
blast.
having
Yeah,
us.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, you're welcome anytime. And thank you guys for watching and listening.